Laughter fills the air, echoing from the backyard where James and Ethan play. The sun casts a warm glow, painting a picture of happiness. I watch them from the kitchen window, and for a moment, my heart swells with pride. But just as quickly, a chill runs through me. Why does everything feel so perfect yet so wrong? Look at them, I whisper to myself, forcing a smile. Just a perfect family. But as I say it, I notice the distance between James and me. Once, we shared everything, dreams, fears, laughter. Now, it feels like I am standing at the edge of a vast ocean, unable to reach him. The warmth of our love feels like a fading memory, and doubt creeps in like a shadow. Are you okay? Ethan asks, his voice breaking my thoughts. He looks at me with those bright, innocent eyes, but I can't shake the feeling that something is off. Yeah, just thinking, I reply, trying to sound casual, but my heart races. I feel exposed, like I am wearing my insecurities on my sleeve. The unease grows, filling my chest with a heavy weight. What if James is unhappy? What if I'm not good enough for him anymore? The thought gnaws at me, and I take a deep breath, trying to push it away. Suddenly, my phone buzzes on the counter. I glance at it, and my heart sinks. An anonymous message. I open it, dread pulling in my stomach. The words hit me like a punch, he's not the man you think he is. I feel the world tilt around me. The image of James and Ethan playing together shatters in my mind, replaced by a whirlwind of emotions, anger, fear, confusion. How could someone say that? What do they know? Mom, can we have ice cream? Ethan interrupts my thoughts, his voice bright and hopeful. I nod, forcing a smile. Sure, sweetheart. But the joy of the moment feels distant, like a song I can barely remember. As I scoop ice cream into bowls, I can't shake the feeling that everything is about to change. What if the message is true? What if James has been hiding something from me? The thought sends a shiver down my spine. Are you sure you're okay? James asks, stepping into the room. His eyes search mine, and I can't help but feel a pang of longing. I want to tell him everything, to scream my fears and doubts, but the words stick in my throat. Yeah, just tired, I manage to say, but inside, I'm screaming. I want to ask him if he's still in love with me. I want to know if I'm still the one he chooses every day. Instead, I smile and hand him a bowl of ice cream. Laughter drifts back outside, and I watch as they share a moment, their heads thrown back in joy. But my heart feels heavy. I can't shake the feeling that an invisible wall is rising between us, and the world outside is beginning to change. What if this is just a facade? What if the happiness we flaunt is nothing but an illusion? I take a deep breath, trying to steady myself. I need to know the truth, but am I ready for what I might uncover? Ethan runs back outside, his laughter echoing through the house. I force myself to join them, to play the part of the happy mother. But with each passing moment, the questions swirl in my mind. What do I do if the truth is darker than I can imagine? As I stand there, watching the two of them, I realize that I am at a crossroads. The laughter fades into the background, and all I can hear is the pulse of my own heart, beating out a rhythm of uncertainty. What lies ahead? Only time will tell, but I feel the storm brewing, and I know that I can't ignore it for much longer. The weight of my decision hangs over me like a dark cloud. I can feel it pressing on my chest as I sit alone in the living room, staring at the wall. Confronting Ethan feels like standing at the edge of a cliff, the ground crumbling beneath my feet. I know I can't keep pretending everything is fine. The truth has to come out, and it starts with him. Ethan, I say, my voice shaking slightly as I summon the courage to face him. He looks up from his phone, the usual smirk playing on his lips. What's up? He replies casually, as if we're about to share a joke instead of entering a battlefield of emotions. I take a deep breath, feeling my heart race. We need to talk. The words hang in the air between us, heavy and charged. About what? He asks, his smirk fading just a little, replaced by curiosity. About you and James. I watch his expression closely. The way his eyes narrow tells me I've struck a nerve. Me and James? Ethan scoffs, rolling his eyes. What about it? You think we're up to something? A lump forms in my throat. I got a message. Someone said you're not who you seem. That you make him happy in ways I can't. Ethan leans back in his chair, crossing his arms. Oh, please. You think I'd ruin your perfect little family? I'm just a friend. Are you? I shoot back, my frustration bubbling to the surface. You're always around. You laugh with him, share secrets. What am I supposed to think? He shrugs, his dismissive attitude cutting deeper than I expected. Maybe he just enjoys my company more than yours. Ever thought of that? My heart sinks as I process his words. Each one feels like a stab, and I can't help but wonder if there's truth in what he's saying. You think this is a joke? You're messing with my life, Ethan. Messing with your life? That's rage coming from you, he retorts, his voice sharp. Maybe you should take a good look in the mirror. You've been distant, cold. James needs someone who can lighten up his world. His words strike hard, and I feel my defenses crumbling. I'm trying. But I can't help feeling like I'm losing him. Maybe I'm the one who's not enough. Ethan leans forward, a flicker of something, was it pity, crossing his face. You want the truth? James is unhappy. I'm just giving him what you can't. The realization hits me like a wave crashing down. So this is what it comes down to? You think you can just waltz in and take my place? Isn't that what you're afraid of? Ethan shoots back, his voice low. You're scared of losing him, and you should be. You can't ignore the fact that things have changed. I swallow hard, the truth of his words sinking in. I have felt the distance grow, but hearing it out loud makes it all the more real. What do you want from me, Ethan? He smirks again, a confident glint in his eye. Nothing from you. I'm just saying maybe you should stop pretending everything is fine. It's not. I take a step back, feeling the ground shift beneath me. So, what now? I just let you continue this charade? Charade, he repeats, leaning closer. You think that's what this is? Maybe it's time for you to face the music. You need to figure out what you want before it's too late. Anger flares inside me, but beneath it lies fear. I know he's right. I need to protect my family, but exposing Ethan means facing the truth about James, too. I won't let you come between us, I declare, my voice steady despite the turmoil inside. But I need to know where I stand. Ethan leans back, a satisfied grin on his face. Then good luck with that. You're going to need it. I turn away, my heart pounding. The confrontation has left me shaken, but I know I can't ignore what's happening any longer. I have to confront James. I have to find out if our love can survive the storm that is brewing. I found myself sitting on the edge of my bed, staring at the wall, my heart heavy with uncertainty. After my tense encounter with Ethan, I needed clarity. I needed someone to talk to, someone who could help me make sense of the chaos inside my mind. Clara, my trusted friend, popped into my head. She was always good at listening and giving me advice when I felt lost. I picked up my phone and texted her, "Can we talk? I really need your help." Within minutes, my phone buzzed with her reply, "Of course." When and where? Coffee shop around the corner? In an hour? I typed back, feeling a flicker of relief wash over me. Clara always had a way of making things feel lighter, even when the weight of the world was on my shoulders. When I arrived at the coffee shop, I spotted Clara sitting at a small table in the corner, her eyes bright and welcoming. She waved me over, and as I took a seat, I felt a bit of the tension ease. "Hey, you look like you've been through a lot," Clara said, her brow furrowing with concern. I sighed, running my fingers through my hair. I I confronted Ethan about his relationship with James. Clara leaned in closer, her expression serious. And? What happened? I took a deep breath, choosing my words carefully. He made me question everything. He said I've been distant and that James is unhappy. It felt like he was trying to break me down. Clara nodded, her eyes thoughtful. That's a lot to take in. But do you really believe what Ethan said? That James is unhappy? I hesitated, the doubt creeping back in. I don't know. I can feel the distance between us, but I thought it was just a rough patch. Maybe I haven't been paying enough attention. Or maybe Ethan is just trying to manipulate you? Clara suggested, her voice firm. You know how he is. He thrives on chaos. I nodded slowly, considering her words. You're right. But I can't ignore the possibility that he might be telling the truth about James. Clara leaned back, her expression softening. You have to ask yourself what's more important, the truth or the comfort of lies. Do you want to keep pretending everything is fine? Her question hit me hard. I had been living in this bubble of denial, hoping things would magically get better. But deep down, I knew I had to face the truth, no matter how painful it might be. I can't keep pretending, I said, my voice steady now. But confronting James scares me. What if he really is unhappy? What if I'm the one who pushed him away? Clara reached across the table, placing her hand on mine. You won't know unless you talk to him. Keeping this secret will only lead to more pain for everyone involved. You deserve to know where you stand. Her words resonated with me, stirring something deep inside. I realized that hiding from the truth would only prolong my suffering and potentially hurt James even more. What if he doesn't want to talk? I asked, anxiety creeping back in. Then you'll have your answer, Clara replied, her tone encouraging. But don't let fear dictate your actions. You owe it to yourself and to James to be honest. I took a moment to absorb her advice. The thought of confronting James filled me with dread, yet I knew that I had to do it. Okay, I said finally, determination filling my voice. I'll talk to him. I'll find out what's really going on. Clara smiled, and I could see the pride in her eyes. You're strong. Just remember to be open and listen. No matter what happens, you can handle it. As I left the coffee shop, I felt a little lighter. The path ahead was uncertain, but I knew I had to face it. I had to confront James and uncover the truth, no matter how difficult it might be. The stormy night arrived with a fierce wind that rattled the windows. I sat on the edge of the couch, my heart racing as I prepared to tell James the truth. Thunder rumbled in the distance, echoing the turmoil within me. I could feel the weight of my decision pressing down, each heartbeat reminding me of the fear and dread I carried. James, I finally called out, my voice barely above a whisper. He was in the kitchen, pouring himself a glass of water, his back turned to me. I could see the muscles in his shoulders tense as he heard my voice. Yeah, he replied, but I could sense the distance in his tone. It felt as if he were a million miles away, even though he was just a few feet from me. I need to talk to you, I said, trying to sound more confident than I felt. Can you come in here? He turned slowly, a puzzled look on his face. What's up? You look serious. I took a deep breath, trying to steady my racing heart. I found out about Ethan. About his feelings for you. James's expression shifted from curiosity to shock. What do you mean? His voice was low, almost a whisper, as if he already knew where this was going. I felt my throat tighten. He told me he's been there for you, that you're unhappy with me. I thought I should tell you the truth. The silence that followed felt heavy, as if the air itself was waiting for his response. I watched his face change, a mix of emotions playing across his features. There was shock, then despair, and finally, a flicker of something deeper, a vulnerability that shattered my heart. I didn't want you to find out this way, he said, his voice cracking. I didn't want to hurt you. Then why didn't you tell me? I pleaded, feeling tears prick at the corners of my eyes. I've been feeling this distance between us, and I thought it was just a rough patch. James ran a hand through his hair, looking lost. I thought I could fix things on my own. I didn't want to drag you into my unhappiness. I didn't want you to feel like you were failing. Failing? I echoed, the word stinging. James, I love you. I would rather know the truth than live in a lie. We can work through this together. He looked at me, his eyes filled with regret. I didn't want to burden you. I thought I was protecting you. The storm outside seemed to intensify, the rain pouring down in sheets. I felt a surge of frustration mixed with sadness. But you're not protecting me. You're pushing me away. I can't believe you'd let Ethan fill that space. I could have helped you. I know, he said, his voice barely above a whisper. But I didn't know how to ask for help. I didn't want to admit that I was struggling. The weight of his words hung heavy in the air. The truth was out, but it felt like a double-edged sword. I need you to be honest with me, James. Are you unhappy? Do you want to be with Ethan? He shook his head, his eyes glistening with unshed tears. No. It's not like that. I care about Ethan, but it's not love. I don't know how to feel anymore. I've been so lost. My heart sank as I realized the depth of his pain. Then let's find our way back together. We can't do this alone, but we have to be honest. No more secrets. James stepped closer, his pain palpable. I'm scared, too. Scared of what this means for us. I didn't want to hurt you, and now I feel like I've broken everything. I reached out, taking his hand in mine. We can rebuild it. But we have to start with the truth. I need to know what you really feel. The storm raged on outside, but in that moment, I sensed a shift. The truth was painful, but it also felt like a first step. Together, we could face the storm and perhaps, just perhaps, find a way to weather it together. The days that followed were heavy, each moment filled with silence that echoed louder than any words we could have shared. Our home, once filled with laughter and warmth, felt like a hollow shell. I could sense the weight of unresolved emotions pressing down on us, making it hard to breathe. Every glance at James reminded me of the truth we had laid bare, and it felt like a barrier between us, even as we sat in the same room. One evening, as we both stared at the television without really watching, I finally broke the silence. James, can we talk? My voice felt fragile, as if it might shatter the stillness. He turned to look at me, his eyes weary. I guess we have to, don't we? There was a hint of resignation in his tone, and it made my heart ache. I don't want to ignore what happened, I said, my hands trembling slightly. But I also don't want to lose you. I love you too much for that. James sighed, running his fingers through his hair. I love you too. But things feel different now. I don't know how to fix this. Maybe we can start by just being honest, I suggested. What are you feeling? What do you want? He hesitated, his gaze dropping to the floor. I feel lost. I didn't realize how unhappy I was until everything came crashing down. I thought I could handle it alone, but it only pushed you away. I nodded, understanding the struggle that lay behind his words. I understand that now. I saw you drifting, and it scared me. I thought it was just a rough patch, but it was more than that. James looked up, his eyes filled with pain. I didn't want to hurt you. I didn't want you to feel like it was your fault. I thought being with Ethan would help, but it only made things worse. Why didn't you talk to me? I asked, my voice softening. I could have helped you. We could have faced it together. I was afraid, he confessed, his voice breaking. Afraid of admitting I was struggling, afraid of losing you. I thought by keeping it a secret, I was protecting you. Protecting me? I said, shaking my head. You were just pushing me away. I can't help you if I don't know what you're going through. Maybe I thought I could fix everything on my own, he admitted. But I see now that I was wrong. I don't want to hide anymore. A flicker of hope ignited within me. Then let's start fresh. Let's talk about everything, even the hard stuff. We owe it to ourselves. James nodded slowly, a tear escaping down his cheek. I want that too. I want to find a way back to us. As the days turned into weeks, we began to open up to each other. We talked late into the night, sharing our fears and dreams. It wasn't easy, and there were moments when the pain felt overwhelming. But with each conversation, we chipped away at the wall that had grown between us. One night, I looked at him and said, I believe we can rebuild what we lost. It won't happen overnight, but we can take it one step at a time. James smiled, a hint of relief in his eyes. I want to try. I want to fight for us. Good, I replied, feeling a warmth spread through me. Let's promise to keep talking, no matter how hard it gets. I promise, he said, his voice steady. We can face this together. As we lay in bed that night, the air felt lighter, almost electric with possibility. The storm of our emotions had not completely passed, but we were learning to navigate through it. In that moment, I felt a glimmer of hope for our future. The road ahead would be challenging, but I knew that together, we could weather anything. With each passing day, James and I found ourselves at a crossroads, standing amid the ruins of what our relationship once was. The silence that had wrapped around us was slowly beginning to dissolve, giving way to tentative conversations. Together, we embarked on a journey of healing, a path that felt both daunting and necessary. One evening, as we sat at the dining table, I cleared my throat, trying to gather my thoughts. James, I think we need to talk about forgiveness. I mean, really talk about it. He looked up, his brow furrowing slightly. Are you sure we're ready for that? It feels like such a big step. I think it's the only way we can move forward, I replied, my voice steady. We can't keep carrying this weight without trying to lighten it. James sighed, running his fingers over the table's surface. I know I hurt you deeply. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. I need to understand how you feel about it all. I took a deep breath, letting his words sink in. It's hard for me, James. I want to forgive you, but I also feel this pain that lingers. It's like a shadow that just won't go away. I understand, he said, his voice filled with sincerity. I didn't just betray your trust, I hurt the love we built together. I can't take that back, but I want to make it right. In that moment, I saw a glimpse of the man I had fallen in love with, a man willing to face the truth, despite how painful it was. Maybe we can start with small steps, I suggested. Let's share our feelings more openly, even the uncomfortable ones. James nodded, his expression softening. That sounds good. I want to know what's in your heart, even if it's hard to hear. Okay, I said, feeling a mix of anxiety and hope. Sometimes, I feel like I'm not enough for you. That maybe if I had done something differently, this wouldn't have happened. Please don't think that, he replied quickly. You are more than enough for me. I got lost in my own struggles and pushed you away. It was never about you not being enough. I met his gaze, searching for the truth in his eyes. I want to believe that, James. I really do. As we spoke, I felt the barriers between us start to crumble. The honesty we shared was like fresh air after being trapped in a confined space for too long. Let's promise to keep doing this, I said. To keep talking, no matter how hard it gets. I promise, he said softly, reaching across the table to take my hand. We can face this together. I don't want to hide anymore. The days that followed were filled with more discussions, each one peeling back layers of hurt and misunderstanding. We talked about our dreams and fears, and slowly, the love we had for each other began to resurface. It wasn't a quick fix, it was a process, and we were both committed to it. One afternoon, as we sat on the porch, I reflected on our journey. Do you remember when we first met? How everything felt so easy and light? James smiled, a spark of nostalgia in his eyes. Yeah, it was like we were meant to find each other. I remember laughing with you for hours. Maybe we can find that joy again, I said, feeling a warmth in my chest. Not the same joy, but something new, a deeper connection that comes from understanding and rebuilding. I want that too, he replied, his voice filled with hope. I know we can redefine our love. It may take time, but I believe we can do it. With those words, I felt a renewed sense of purpose. Let's keep moving forward, one day at a time. We can create a new beginning, grounded in understanding and resilience. James nodded, his eyes shining with commitment. Together, we'll rebuild from the ashes. Our family may look different, but we have the power to make it strong again. As the sun set behind us, casting a warm glow over our porch, I felt an overwhelming sense of peace wash over me. The road ahead would be challenging, filled with bumps and turns, but for the first time in a long while, I felt ready to face it, hand in hand with the man I loved. Share this story if you believe that love can overcome even the toughest challenges. Leave a comment about a time when open communication transformed your relationship, and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories like this one. Let's continue this journey of healing together.